My name is Nick Johnson. I'm the Communications Director for Recovery Boot Camp. So on the initial phone call, when I answer the phone, I'm speaking to a potential admin on the other line. Basically what I do is I find out first and foremost, where they're at, whether they're locked up in a hotel room, in their mom's basement, if they're local in Florida or out of state. I gauge a little bit of how the conversation is going to go. Because 99% of the time the individual on the other end of the phone is absolutely petrified. You can either tell very easily that they're scared to death, or they block it out with some kind of facade and tough guy mentality. Either way, I know they're scared because I've done the exact same thing multiple times in my life. So it's very important for me to essentially calm them down and talk them off the ledge, get on their level, and have a normal conversation with them. Find out exactly what it is that they're looking for, get into their use history, what their drug of choice is, how often they've been using, how many detoxes or treatment centers they've been to in their life this year, find out a little bit about their mental health history, medication history, all in a very cordial, down-to-earth conversation. Again, it's very important for the individual on the other end of the phone, whether it's the potential client or their family member, to feel comfortable with who they're talking to. So I always keep that in mind 100% of the time when I pick up the phone, is that I'm trying to help somebody make the best decision of their life when they're struggling with drugs or alcohol, and that's to get treatment. It's to get quality treatment, and I believe that that's exactly what we provide at Recovery Boot Camp. And as I'm talking to the moms, the dads, the grandmothers, the brothers, and the sisters of loved ones who are struggling with drugs or alcohol, whatever it may be, it holds a special place in my heart because I know my mom and my father have made those calls multiple times, fed up with me, fed up with the things that I was doing, but didn't know what to do and definitely didn't want to see me die or be out on the streets, and basically begged and pleaded that I would get help or land in a place that could truly help me. So I can definitely sympathize for those families, and I definitely empathize with the potential clients coming in because I've been in their shoes multiple times, and that's why working here and being a part of Recovery Boot Camp is so important to me and means so much to me, because I know we're providing quality care for the individual coming through. I understand, and that these families need to know that their loved one is in a good place, and I ensure them through every phone call that they make to me that we're doing the best that we can, and we'll continue to do the best we can for their loved one. Recovery Boot Camp has an excellent clinical staff. They have Recovery Dynamics, a complete breakdown of all 12 steps in a 12-step program. We have Mark, our spiritual advisor and case manager. We have courses that are teaching these guys life skills, coping skills that they're able to apply into their long-term recovery. On top of that, the alumni program, again, is bigger than ever, and it's a mentorship program for these guys coming through. Another main difference is the accountability that is being held toward our clients is substantial. These guys are going to meetings 7 days a week. They see their therapist once a week. They see their case manager at least once a week for an hour to help with their resume rebuilding, credit repair, legal issues, anything pertaining to outside life aside from just staying sober, aside from just using drugs and alcohol. Case management jumps in and helps these guys get their lives on track for when they move along. We also provide a wellness course, physical therapy, weight training, diet plans and meal plans that help these guys for healthy lifestyle living and things of that nature. The accountability is absolutely outstanding. The guys that come in uncertain of whether they want to stay sober, uncertain of whether they want to follow the rules, with the clinical staff, the BHT staff, and the all-around alumni program, it very quickly these guys realize that this is where they want to be. They want to follow these suggestions. They want to follow the rules. And in turn, they get sober and stay sober. So another hat that I wear at Recovery Boot Camp is I'm the alumni coordinator. It's a position that was naturally for me because, again, I'm an alumni of Healing Properties. So what that entails is, at least on a monthly basis, I reach out to as many alumni as I possibly can just to check in, let them know that we're thinking of them. A huge majority of which I already communicate with on a regular basis because, I know them personally. But as the alumni coordinator, it's my job to make sure that our alumni meeting once a month is being attended, that guys are still supporting us, which they all are, and and are happy to do so. It's important for the alumni of Healing Properties and Recovery Boot Camp to come back once a month at least for our alumni meeting, because we have tons of new guys coming in, again, scared to death, unsure about the program, unsure about getting sober, and they need to see these guys and meet these guys that have been through exactly what they're going through. So my job is to basically bridge the gap from the current resident to the alumni, to introduce them and to allow them to be each other's support, whether it be for sponsorship, mentorship, or a friendly face to guide them in the right direction. Our alumni are very strong. They have very long coattails that these guys can grab onto and be guided in the right direction. And I take a lot of pride in our alumni and being part of the alumni department here at Recovery Boot Camp, because it absolutely is it's a fundamental of staying sober long term. That camaraderie, that fellowship, a lot of these guys are introduced to that through the alumni program in Recovery Boot Camp and Healing Properties. So one of the greatest aspects of my job is to see these guys change. Again, I'm the first point of contact for the guy when they're looking for treatment. I'm talking to them. I'm the first person they're talking to when they're the most beaten and broken down that they've probably ever been in their entire life. And on the other side of that coin, I'm also the one chairing the alumni meeting and handing them their t-shirt when they graduate. And to see the change in an individual when they come in, withdrawing from drugs, unsure of getting sober, all around just broken as an individual with these crazy behaviors and this perception on life that is so unrealistic, to becoming men that they were absolutely capable of being since the day that they were born, is an absolute blessing for me, because it keeps it green for myself. I've been through it, I'm going through it, and it continues to drive me to want to help these guys as much as I possibly can. And it's absolutely a beautiful thing. To talk to the families later on, to hear their cries for help turn to cries of joy, realistically, it makes what I do very, very easy.